Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Eric with SweetSpotDFS, and this is my DFS preview for the 2022 Valspar Championship. Now, I'm recording this on a Sunday night, which I typically do these previews on Mondays. But because the Players' Championship is finishing Monday night, I know I'm not going to have enough time to update everything and provide you a preview video anytime soon. It would have to be now, or it would be Tuesday sometime during the day, which that's way too late. So we're doing it now, which all that means I'm not going to be able to include a lot of the things I usually do on previews. Since the Players' Championship's not over, we can include last week's stats. We can't look really at recent form because that has to include the Players' Championship. And we can't talk about salaries because DraftKings puts those out Monday afternoon. So I'm doing all of this prior to, and again, it's just to open up the schedule to get everything done because of the late Players' Championship finish, I should say. So, but we're still going to look at tournament information. We're still going to look at course information. And we're still going to look at the buckets, all in order to find the optimal lineup this week, or help find the optimal lineup this week. And of course, before we get into that, let's talk about some giveaways. So every week I like to reward my subscribers. Those that participate on the channel, you can win $10. I usually run these giveaways Sunday night as long as the goal is met. We just need 5 more subscribers. So I think I'm at 315. I forgot to update it. It says 314 as on the goal there, but it's to reach that 320 number, which means we only need 5 more subscribers. If you would like a chance to win $10, by the way, it is the entry is completely open. There are no entries, I should say, to this $10 because we just gave it all away for the Players' Championship, which will be in the review video tomorrow. But if you want a free entry into this, giveaway is wide open. We just need 5 more subscribers. So if you're not yet subscribed, please do so. Hit that subscribe button and comment down below. If you need a topic, let's talk about the Players' Championship. Like, how did you like the carnage that happened at the Players' Championship? Did you like the big rain delays? Did it screw you? Did it screw your lineups? You let me know down below in the comments, or just give me any comment. Doesn't matter. YouTube grabs that information and suggests videos based off of participation. So you can have a chance to win $10 just by subscribing and commenting below. The other giveaway that I have is a Prize Picks giveaway. If you sign up using the promo code SweetSpot and put $20 in your account, I'm going to send you $20. It's more than what any other content creator is doing out there. They're just saying, hey, we'll give you a deposit match up to $100, but guess what? So am I. But on top of that, I'm also giving you $20 using the promo code SweetSpot. So you can deposit as much as you want, but if you want to play Prize Picks for free, all you gotta do is put 20 bucks in. Again, use the promo code SweetSpot. There is a link in the description below. That's how you can easily get to the site. And of course, I have a cheat sheet that will include everything I talk about throughout the week. It'll also include the bucket system, and I'll update that as the week goes on. Hopefully we'll have everything updated by just shortly after the Players' Championship ends tomorrow. There's a link in the description to get that cheat sheet. Right now it's currently populated with Players' Championship information. But again, tomorrow, Monday, or whenever you're watching this, I will have it updated by Monday night, no later than 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, it will also include the buckets that we're not talking about today. So I also have an optimizer that's available. That also is not updated, unfortunately. But you can go to the strategy video, go to the end of the video. I talk about the optimizer. You can see it as I run it there. You can get, familiar with it, and if it's something you want, all you gotta do is follow the subscriber giveaway conditions, be subscribed, comment down below, but you're gonna also have to email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com. Let me know you're interested in the optimizer. Those are all the giveaways. Let's get into this. Let's talk about the tournament. Valspar Championship, established in 2000 at Palm Harbor, Florida. I think it started out as the Tampa Bay Championship, something like that. This is 3.5 hours southwest of where they're currently playing the Players' Championship, Ponte Vedra Beach. Again, this is Palm Harbor, Florida. So one's in Jacksonville, basically, and the other one's in Tampa Bay. This one is in Tampa Bay, the Valspar. which means probably a little warmer weather throughout the week. it's not really going to change much. I'll talk about the rest of the things like grass, and then the weather down below as well. So let's go ahead. Let's keep moving forward. Field size 144 players, which is kind of annoying because the Players Championship couldn't, I mean, minus the weather and stuff, I don't think it still finishes the tournament. There wasn't enough daylight. And although, you know, daylight savings time happened, there still isn't enough daylight, you know, for the day. It doesn't change how much lightness is outside. The PGA could start at any time. It doesn't have to just strictly start at 7 or strictly start at 8. They can start as early as the sun rises. So nothing really changes on that front. 144 players is a lot of players this time of the year, and they can barely get it through as long as all the players are, you know, not losing any golf balls, you know, not taking any penalty shots or taking too much time on the greens. Yeah, they can get all 144 players through, but it's tight. Last year this was played in May. It was not played in March. So you kind of have a different dynamic from last year to this year. And I think you also had 156 players last year in the field. It's typically 144 players though. And of course the cut is the same as it always is. It's just to remind you guys it's top 65 in ties. Your average win score -10 around this track. I believe there was an outlier last year, and I think that has largely to do with the fact it was played in May. It was warmer. I think it was just easier to score. So Sam Burns won it last year at -17. But other than that, the lowest score was Adam Hadwin in 2017 at 14 under. Otherwise, it's like 10 under or lower, or I should say higher, you know, going closer to even. So this is usually a good golf course to pick golfers that grind out pars. So I'm talking about your Jason Days, your Paul Caseys, your Sung Jae Ims. Those are really good players to choose because they just like they're better at grinding out pars. There are more golfers that are similar to that. What I would say for you guys at home, if you do any research, look at the winning score of being like -12 or worse and see what average finishing position each person has. And then just kind of weight it, you know, weight out your rankings based off, I mean, add that to your rankings, I should say. And see if some players get a little boost here and there. Those might be the guys, you know, worth targeting this week. Average cut score. With that also being said, the average cut score is like plus 1.5. It's in between 1 and 2 over par. So yeah, tough golf course. The strength of field this week, I calculated around 406. That's going to change, obviously. We'll see what kind of withdrawals happen from the guys that are finishing the Players Championship, you know, Monday night. You know, it really just depends on how they finish. If they finish Monday night, that will largely determine if they want to withdraw from this tournament, the Valspar. And really, I don't think because like your top names that are in the Valspar this week are like Colin Morikawa. He's number 2 in the world, so he's bringing 45 strength of field points with him. You have like Justin Thomas, who will bring 25 strength of field points with him. He's going to be finishing later, so he could withdraw from the Valspar. I don't know if he's going to or if he wants to, but then you would remove 25 points. Victor Hovland's another guy that brings like 20 some points with him. He's also playing, you know, the weekend, or he's playing tomorrow, Monday. I'm sorry. He made the cut at the Players. Let's just back it up and just say that he made the cut at the Players Championship, so he is going to be playing until it finishes. So again, if he's in the same boat as Justin Thomas, and same with Dustin Johnson, those 3 golfers are still playing. If they don't continue with their tournament, this strength of field has the opportunity to get to lose 150 strength of field points just from those golfers. Really, not just them, but you know, it's a possibility that it'll lose a lot of strength of field, because right now it's about average. Like, this is your average strength of field throughout the PGA Tour. It's not super strong, it's not super weak, but it could get weaker. And obviously then you would also want to look at strength of field, like tournaments with, you know, this number of strength of field or somewhere around 250, something like that, to determine, you know, more advantages of picking certain players. So keep all that in mind. Right now it's just, you know, who knows? We'll see. A lot of this will just be coming throughout the week. You know, we can't do anything right now and trying to predict that kind of stuff. But as I calculate it, strength of field's 406, which is kind of middle of the pack. Not, like I said, not super strong, not super weak. Weather, 74 degrees Thursday. It looks like there's going to be a thunderstorm Wednesday coming through here. So more rain, more thunderstorms for Florida. But Thursday and Friday look relatively dry. Like I didn't see much forecasted for rain. Again, it's Sunday night, so obviously that can change. Wind looks pretty benign as well, 5 to 10 miles an hour. That can also change as well. The golf course. Innisbrook Resort. This is the Copperhead Golf Course. Very tough. The snake pit is involved. I'm sure you'll hear that so much throughout the week. It is what it is. It's just the signature. So, architect Larry Packard. I think he was an architect of one other golf course that either the PGA used for like a PGA Championship or a US Open. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but I don't think you can really do anything with the architect there. Par 71, 7,300 yards. Here's where changing from May to March matters. They say there's overseed at this golf course, and that's the same overseed on the greens minus the velvet bent grass. Looks like it's just Bermuda overseeded with POA Trivialis. I remember when Tiger played here in like 2018, I believe. You could see the POA kind of being super bumpy throughout the week. And I actually argued against this for the Players' Championship, but that had a lot to do with, you know, the mixture of POA and bent grass. Again, it was that POA Trivialis and then that velvet bent grass. So I had made the argument that plays more like bent grass. That doesn't play anything like POA. And while you're watching the tournament, you see the greens roll pretty pure. There's no plinko, there's no balls wiggling off course, anything like that comes with POA. I remember watching Tiger putt a couple of balls, and you know the POA was in effect, and the announcers even talked about it. So with that being said, I think POA could be a grass that you want to be looking at when it comes to putting. It's really difficult. Like if you can do an overseed with POA, that's probably your best bet when it comes to researching this. Otherwise, I think it's probably not worthwhile. You know, Bermuda overseeded with rye through the fairways and rough. Yeah, I'd look at tournaments that have that type of overseed with that base layer, but don't look into Bermuda. I will fight tooth and nail about this. And if anyone suggests that it's Bermuda, any of these DFSers that suggest it's Bermuda, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, you should not listen to what they have to say if they say it's Bermuda. And if you need any credentials from me, I went to school for golf course management. I had to take agronomy classes. The weather here, it's super close to being warm enough to actually have Bermuda, just normal Bermuda, but it's like right on the fence. Since winter was just happening, and it still kind of is, but not so much in Florida. There's nothing to suggest that the Bermuda is growing through right now. So don't get caught up in that. Please don't. I think it's kind of a joke at this moment in time that DFSers we've had so much information and knowledge given to us that they can figure it out on their own. They can figure it out just by doing simple searches. How does Bermuda grow in this time of year, especially in Florida? But if you see that it's overseeded, you don't put overseed on this information if it isn't the prevalent grass. Like, it wouldn't say Bermuda overseed with rye, but it's really Bermuda. Like, it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do that. There's a time frame where the Bermuda will grow through the grass. They will also remove some of the earth by, you know, drilling holes. Well, not so much drilling holes, but if you understand golf course maintenance, you understand the equipment they use. They will punch little holes in the ground. They'll actually extract cores from it, and they'll fill it all in with sand and most likely fertilizer. That will be Bermuda. That will then come through. Since they're saying it's overseed, that means they haven't done that yet. It is still overseeded with the POA and rye. And although over time that Bermuda will grow through, these high-end golf courses aren't just going to naturally let it happen. Some of them might. I won't say they won't, but some of them, they might. But for a golf course like this, it's not happening that way. They want everything to be as quick as possible. They want the transition period to happen super quickly so they can get play back on the course and then just maintain the golf course at that moment in time. So again, I mean, I think we're at a point where we just need to be shunning DFSers who think this is like they don't understand overseed at this moment in time. They should just not be listened to. I do have shot shapes right here. This course heavily favors a fade. Now, Paul Casey has won this tournament in the past. He hits draws. But if you look at most of the top 10 leaderboards, you see nothing but fades. You'll see like Tiger Woods up there. Sam Burns last year won this tournament. He hits a fade. Like Justin Rose. I mean, well, you know, shot shapers, I guess, kind of do this. I'm looking at the top 10 right now. And you see like Adam Hadwin, he shaped shots both directions. Here, let me throw this on the screen. So we're looking like up here, you know, Hovland fades the golf ball, Abram, Answer fades the golf ball, Burns fades the golf ball, Keegan mostly hits a draw, can't remember what Tringali does, Louis hits a draw, Joaquin Neiman hits a draw. So I guess as much as it showed fades, you know, you can make a case for draws. Paul Casey, draw. Kokrak, draw. Ustays, draw. Im is a fade. Bubba's lefty that hits a fade. That's a draw shape. Armour, I think, hits a draw. DJ hits a fade. Rom hits a fade. Donald hits a fade. Austin Cook hits a fade. McCarthy, I think, hits a fade. Can't really remember off the top of my head. Draw, fade, both. I mean, Tiger hits both too, but Sergio, let's just say Sergio hits mostly a fade. He can shape it both directions. Rose can shape it both directions. Furyk hits a draw. Grace hits a fade. Draw with the Kokrak. Draw with Simpson. I can't remember what Sabatini does. So I guess it's a mix, really. Like Cantley hits mostly a draw. It's a little like 5-yard draw. Hadwin shapes it both directions. Finau hits a fade. Schwartzel hits a draw. Henrik hits a fade. I don't know what Wesley Bryan does. Russell Henley hits a fade. So I guess it's a mix, but I think it favors mostly fade golfers. But that is hitting 300-yard drives. So if there are any like trees or anything that requires shot shaping, that's why I have it on the screen. You can hit irons. You can hit fairway woods off the tee where you don't have to hit that 300-yard mark, and you can hit whatever shot shape. So that's probably why we see some of these other golfers hitting whatever shot shape they have. They'll just have longer approach shots. That's all. So basically, I think you can hit any shot shape here, but if you do hit 300-yard drives off of every tee, again, it's not required, but if you do, you're going to want to hit those fades off the tee and then approach shots. The greens are shaped for fades on most of these that are shown that I have right here. That doesn't mean 100% you have to hit a fade. You could hit draws into those greens. It's just tougher to get close to the hole. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and talk about past optimal lineups. So unfortunately this year, or for this tournament, we only have 3 years we can talk about. 2020, they canceled it because of COVID. So we really only have 2018, 2019, and 2021. So in 2018, you left $1,100 on the table if you wanted to hit the optimal lineup. And you had two 9K golfers, a 7, 7, 7, 6. So 2 9s, 7, 7, 6. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 7s. 2 9s, 3 7s, and a 6K. In 2019, you left $700 on the table. We are also going with 2 9Ks, but we have an 8K that comes in here now, 2 7s, and a 6. So we're currently seeing 2 9s, 2 7s, and a 6 in both the lineups for 2018, 2019. In 2021, our optimal had a 10K golfer in it, an 8K, actually 2 8Ks, 2 7s, and a 6. So 2 7s and a 6 ends up being common, at least for the 3 years that we saw. Now, we do see a 10, a 9, an 8. I mean, can you create a lineup like this? 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. This is $300 over the limit. So how do we make it not be? Probably get rid of those guys and add these guys. It's 49,800. You're not going to get the optimal lineup, but could you beat the GPP winning lineup? That's 635, and the GPP winning lineup scored 595. So yeah, you could. So you could go 1098, 776. That's your traditional lineup build. So that's all we have for past optimal lineups. I don't have anything else to add to any of that. Now we just jump right into the buckets. And again, we can't talk about all the buckets because we don't have some of that information. We can go ahead and hide these and just talk about it like this. Put a filter on this and go into our I think we can actually talk about our strokes gain buckets, right? Oh no, I didn't update it. I did not update it with okay, no. So really all we can talk about last year and course history buckets. Again, okay, so let's talk about this right now. The bucket system. What does it mean to you? Well, it's a tool that basically captures all of the data for whatever finishing position we want. I like to look at top 10s. You could look at top 20s, top 5s, so on and so forth. It also looks at optimal lineups. Captures all the data within each optimal lineup, each top 10, each top 5 of this tournament, or every year that this tournament's been played. And it just gives us a snapshot of how often or how frequently, finishes within these buckets happen. So let me actually sort out, let's just look at last year buckets. So I have 6 buckets for the last year stat, and I go by every 20th finishing place. So 1 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, 80 plus, and did not play. These are going to be your common 6 bucket ranges. And if a golfer falls under that bucket, that's how I'm determining, that's how I'm capturing these stats. So for golfers who top 20'd the year before, any given tournament, and let me actually show you a different way. If I went to 2018 and I look at just golfers inside the top 10, so these golfers right here, we're only looking at these. I can look at how they finished the year before and try to just to mentally snapshot that. Or I use this crazy spreadsheet that just captures everything for every single year. So we looked at 2018. We saw there were 6 did not plays for the last year bucket. I know this is confusing to you guys, but this is my last year table. This is all the stats within last year. There are formulas in here that pull all the information that I need. So we see 6 did not plays, 1 20 to 40, 3 40 to 60s, and then a missed cut. There are no top 20s. So if we go back to 2018 and we take a look, you can see no top 20s, 1 20 to 40, 3 40 to 60s, 1 missed cut, and what do I have? 1 2 3 4 5 6. 6 did not plays. So all of that information every single year gets thrown into the summary, and I just make it easier for you guys to digest. You can see how often it's happened since 2013. Really, this should say 20. I mean, this for the last year bucket, it goes to 2014 because my data goes all the way back to 2013. And if you think about it, if I'm not capturing 2012 stats, I can't have last year stats for 2013. So I don't. And that's why we don't talk about 2013. It goes back to 2014. But you can see the raw numbers here for your frequencies. You can see the min maxes. So basically what this reads is, for this bucket down here, there's been at least 3 golfers from this bucket to finish inside the top 10 every single year. This is your minimum. This is how, what's the word? It's the minimum amount of times it happens every single year. Whereas this one is the maximum amount of times it happens each year. Each year. So you can see this bucket down here of did not plays. So not playing this tournament the year before is actually one of your more successful buckets. But it's also, if you look at this bucket or this column here for stats, average per year, it's a high volume driven bucket. So it's like, what I mean by that, there's a lot of golfers in this bucket. Just by the raw number, just the pure amount of golfers in this bucket, it's highly likely we're going to see, at least one inside the top 10. So it's really difficult to kind of like forecast which golfer from this bucket will actually be the one to finish inside the top 10, or which 3 or which 6. But what I like about the bucket system is it's telling you don't play any more than what's in this max bucket, at least depending on the field. And that's why I have these projection fields, which will get updated again in that cheat sheet that I'm providing you guys in the description below. This will get updated to show you what you can accurately predict to finish inside the top 10. Your minimums, you always want to round down, and your maximums, you always want to round up. And what I see currently in the field that PGA Tour provided us is that last year's 6 bucket looks pretty good, looks solid. You want at least 2 golfers from that bucket and no more than 5, at least with the field that we have currently that have committed to it. And then you can kind of see it's just kind of a mix of the other ones. 1 to 2 for top 20s and 1 to 2 for top 80s, or not top 80s, sorry, missed cuts. You can see the frequency rate here. You can see the success rate. This is just looking at the entirety, the every golfer that's ever been in this bucket, and you're seeing the top 10 success rate. So 14% is pretty good. Anything north of 10, 11, 12%, that's good. Especially if you have a lot of golfers in that bucket this year, which doesn't look like we do this year, but that's where the projections come into play. So you can see what it all looks like. I've renumbered these. Now, bucket 1 will always be that 1 to 20 range. Bucket 2 will always be that 20 to 40, so on and so forth. So when it comes to last year buckets, yeah, not playing the year before is actually pretty good. But that doesn't tell us like anything for course history. Are we looking at just rookies? Are we looking at veterans that have played year before but just decided to take last year off? That's where we start looking at the course history buckets. So when we get into the course history buckets, okay, we can look down here to the did not plays, and guess what? It's actually pretty frequent. We see at least 1 golfer from it. So this is where you can load up on your rookies. I'm projecting 1 to 3, or 1 to 4 from this bucket to finish inside the top 10. These are golfers with 0 course history, no course history whatsoever. So last year bucket did not play as last year, probably highly correlated with just rookies, golfers who've never played this tournament before. So keep all of that in mind. It's not a perfect 1-for-1 though. Although that's what it kind of shows us with the summary, it's not a for certain that it's completely rookies that finish inside the top 10. But if it's something to make you more comfortable playing a rookie, just know the stats are in your favor. But like every course history bucket that I have been doing over the last over the last year, I was gonna say 2 months, but it's really like the last year, we're seeing a lot of 0 to 2 or 1 to 2 when it comes to minimum projections and maximum projections, meaning you just want a mix of course histories. Doesn't matter if it's good, doesn't matter if it's bad, doesn't matter if it's in the middle. You just want a good mix, a good, clean mix. And you can also see the min and the maxes here too. I mean, it looks like you want someone in that 40 to 60 range, 60 to 80, missed cuts, and did not plays. This is missed cuts and withdraws, by the way, this bucket here. And you can see all the golfers in the field this week, and according to their average amount per year, that all gets baked into the projections. So your max projection is always going to equal 10 because I'm looking at the top 10, and your minimum projection is always going to be 6 because we need to find at least 6 golfers. So that's kind of how I do my projections. And that's really it. Like, I can't talk about any of the other buckets. So, I mean, I guess it was 30 minutes long. It was a bit more in depth when it comes just to talking about buckets, but you can use the information I just told you to look at last week buckets, recent form buckets, the salary buckets, and also the strokes gained buckets once those all get updated, which again will be included in that cheat sheet in the description below. But yeah, unfortunately we really couldn't get into it, but I gave you get into an actual preview. Again, it's because of the Players Championship ending so late, but hopefully I gave you some good information you can bring during your research process. Whatever that is, whatever that looks like, it's just to help you out. Remember, this isn't Bermuda grass. You don't want to look at Bermuda. You don't even, like, if anything, if any of your websites just say Bermuda overseeded with whatever, perfect. But don't just look at raw Bermuda stats. Last year it was Bermuda because it was played in May. But this is played in March. And it's too cold for Bermuda to grow efficiently. So I wanted to provide that and all the other data points that you could do. Again, you're just going to have to come back and look at the cheat sheet. I think that's probably what's best about this preview video, is just to remind you guys the cheat sheet's available. And yeah, if you need any help looking at it, you got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. It'll help a lot with the whole community, because you might not be the only one asking that question. So I'm going to leave it there. Remember, there are giveaways. $10 if you're a subscriber and you comment down below. I want to reward you guys for participating. We need 5 new subscribers. So if you're not yet subscribed, please do so. Prize picks, link in the description below. $20. Sign up using the promo code SweetSpot. I'm going to give you $20. So do that. And the optimizer is also available. Reach out to me, email SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. That's all I have for you guys. So thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you liked this video. All right, bye.